Okay, the mic was off, but in this video I'm going to be reading the Holy Shrible. Yes. This is what me and my friends wrote. It's really pretty funny if you're a registered Shrees. This is the Shrible, or this is the Bible, but Shrek. In the beginning, Shrek created the Shrevens, the Shirth, and Donkey. The Shirth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters, and the spirit of Shrek was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then Shrek said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Shrek saw the light as good. And then he separated the light from darkness. Shrek called the light day, and the darkness night. And evening passed and morning came, making the first day. Then Shrek said, "Let there be a space between the waters, to separate the waters of the Shrevens and the waters of the Shirth." And that is what happened. Shrek made this space to separate the waters of the Shirth from the waters of the Shrevens. Shrek called this space sky. And evening passed and morning came, marking the second day. Then Shrek created the dirt and trees. Shrek saw that when the dirt and water touched it, created something that felt like water and looked like dirt, but was mushy. Shrek called this mud. And evening passed and morning came, making the third day. Shrek found that when the mud dried, it created a firm block. So Shrek called this firm block brick. So Shrek made a hut of trees and brick. Shrek called this hut house. And evening passed and morning came, making the fourth day. On the fourth day, Shrek made life. Shrek called this life human. He named one human Adam and one human Eve. Shrek told Adam and Eve that he had created something named Angel. Shrek had named one of the angels Lord Farquaad. And evening passed and morning came, making the fifth day. Then Shrek said he had to see Lord Farquaad and told them not to eat the waffles. So Shrek left Adam and Eve to their own. They slept for 2 hours and named things for Shrek. They named the tree juice sap, and then turned the sap into syrup. And evening passed and morning came, making the sixth day. Shrenesis, the second chapter. A couple weeks pass. Shrek thinks about checking the Shirth to see how everything has been doing with the whole human thing. He decides he will check it in around 2 hours. Donkey's never wanted waffles more in his life, but he decides not to go for it. Donkey walks around eating pancakes instead for a few minutes. Then Donkey comes across a snake. The snake says, "Shrek is just testing you. He wants you to eat the waffles to test your intelligence. He's going to be disappointed if you decide not to eat the waffles. Go on and eat the waffles. Shrek will be proud and give you gifts." Donkey finally eats the waffles. Shrek, about an hour later, checks in on the Shirth. He then sees that the waffle is gone. There was leftover maple syrup on it. Shrek already knew Donkey ate the waffles because Donkey was the only one who likes maple syrup. The others despise it. Shrek was very disappointed in Donkey. Shrek then laid a curse on Donkey so that he will die on this Shirth and be cursed with chronic depression and fatigue. Donkey dared to fight back with Shrek and said the snake tricked him and told him that you would be proud. Shrek obviously decides not to lift the curse, but lays a curse on the snake with the same thing, but 100 times worse. Shrek then sends Donkey to the opposite of paradise, Los Angeles, California. Sorry. Shrenesis, 3rd chapter out of 11th. We haven't written the first Shronicles yet. Shrek talks to Fiona. "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when anyone among you brings an offering to Shrek, bring as your offering an animal from either the herd or the flock. If the offering is burnt offering from the herd, you're to offer a male without defect. You must present it at the entrance to the tent of meeting, so that it will be acceptable to Shrek. You're to lay your hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on your behalf to make atonement for you. You're to slaughter the young bull before Shrek, and then Aaron's sons, the Shrees, shall bring the blood and splash it against the sides of the altars at the entrance of the tent to the tent of the meeting." Shrumbers, the 4th chapter. Shrek checked in on the Shirth and saw the more population that grew, the more sin in the world happened. And I had to clarify that stealing waffles is what a sin is. Shrek just felt more disappointed every single second that went by. Shrek finally gave in. and commanded Noah to build a ship. The ship is to be made of soft, buoyant material and to have 2 of every type of animal and all his family members. And over 60 days passed, and Noah has finally built the boat. It floats and should withstand after 30 days and nights in water. Shrek then floods the earth. Twice a day, every day, Noah would send out a raven, then a dove to fly everywhere looking for dry land. Over 35 days passed, Noah sends out a dove, and this time it comes back with something peculiar. The dove came back with a bit of grass. Noah then jumped up in cheer, saying, "There's dry land somewhere!" They eagerly wait 5 more days, boat getting lower and lower. Then Noah checks outside to see completely dry land. After waking up, the earth is reborn. Shrek makes a rainbow as a sign to say he will never do this again. Shrekeronomy. I don't even know who wrote this one. There was like a bunch of co-founders of this Shrible so far. These are the words that Fiona spoke to all the people of Israel while they were in the wilderness east of the Jordan River. They were camped in the Jordan Valley near Suf, between Paran on one side and Tophel, Laban, Hazareth, and Zahab. I don't actually know how to pronounce on the other. I don't know how to pronounce like half of these. Okay. Normally it takes only 11 days to travel from Mount Sinai to Kadesh Barnea, going by way of Mount Zer. But 40 years after the Israelites left Egypt, on the 1st day of the 11th month, I'm messing up, Fiona addressed to the people of Israel, telling them everything the Lord had commanded him to say. This took place after he had defeated King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, and at Edrei had defeated King Og of Bashan, who ruled in Ashtaroth. While the Israelites were in the land of Moab, east of the Jordan River, Fiona carefully explained the Lord's instructions as followed. He meant to remove that. When we were at Mount Sinai, the Lord our Shrek said to us, "You have stayed at this swamp long enough. It's time to break camp and move on. Go to the hill country of the Amorites and to all the neighboring regions, the Jordan Valley, the hill country, the western foothills, the Negev, and the coastal plain. Go to the land of the Canaanites, and to Lebanon, and all the way to the great Euphrates River." I'm really embarrassed that I don't know how to pronounce that. "Look, I am giving all this land to you. Go in and occupy it, for it is the land that the Lord swore to give to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to all of their descendants." Shroshua. Alright. After the death of Fiona, the Lord's servant, the Lord spoke to Joshua, son of Nun, Fiona's assistant. Okay, he said, "Fiona, my servant, is dead. Fiona, my servant, is dead. Therefore, the time has come for you to lead these people, the Israelites, across the Jordan River into the land I am giving them. Promise you what I promised Fiona. Wherever you set foot, you will be on the land I have given you, from the Negev wilderness in the south to the Lebanon mountains in the north, from the Euphrates River in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west, including all the land of the Hittites. No one will be able to stand against you as long as you live, for I will be with you as I was with Fiona. I will not fail you or abandon you. Be strong and courageous, for you are the one who will lead these people to possess all the land I swore to their ancestors I would give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the instructions Fiona gave you. Do not deviate from them, turning either to the right or the left. Then you will be successful in everything you do. Study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all you do. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your Shrek is with you wherever you go. Alright. Truth. The 7th book of the Shrible. In the days when the judges ruled in Israel, a severe famine came upon the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah left his home and went to live in the country of Moab, taking his wife and 2 sons with him. The man's name was Ahimelech, and his wife was the gingerbread man. Their 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. I can't pronounce that. They were the Ephraimites from Bethlehem in the land of Judah. When they reached Moab, they settled there. Then Ahimelech died, and the gingerbread man was left with her 2 sons. The 2 sons married Moabite women. One married a woman named Orpah. And the other, a woman named Truth. But about 10 years later, both Mahlon and Chilion died. This left the gingerbread man alone, without her 2 sons or her husband. Then the gingerbread man heard in Moab that the Lord had blessed his people in Judah by giving them good crops again. So the gingerbread man and her daughters-in-law got ready to leave Moab and to return to her homeland. With her 2 daughters-in-law, she set out from the place where she had been living, and they took to the road that would lead them back to Judah. But on the way, the gingerbread man said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back to your mother's homes, and may the Lord reward you for your kindness to your husbands and to me. May the Lord bless you and with the security of another marriage." Then she kissed them goodbye, and they all broke down and wept. "No," they said, "we want to go with your people." But the gingerbread man replied, "Why should you go with me? Can I still give birth to other sons who could grow up to be your husbands?" Other sons who could... It was a different time. "No, my daughters, return to your parents' homes, for I am too old to marry again. And even if it was possible, and I were to get married tonight and bear sons, then what? Would you wait for them to grow up and refuse to marry someone else? No, of course not, my daughters. Things are far more bitter for me than you, because the Lord himself had raised his fist against me." And again they wept together, and Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. But Truth clung tightly to the gingerbread man. "Look," the gingerbread man said to her, "your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. You should do the same." But Truth replied, "Don't ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your Shrek will be my Shrek. Wherever you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us." When the gingerbread man saw that Truth was determined to go with her, he said nothing more. So the 2 of them continued on their journey. When they came to Bethlehem, the entire town was excited by their arrival. "Is it really the gingerbread man?" the woman asked. "Don't call me the gingerbread man," she responded. "Instead, call me Mara, for the Almighty has made life very bitter for me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me home empty. But why call me the gingerbread man when the Lord has caused me to suffer, and the Almighty has sent tragedy upon me?" So the gingerbread man returned from Moab, accompanied by her daughter-in-law, Truth, the young Moabite woman. They arrived in Bethlehem in late spring, at the beginning of the barley harvest. This is going to be like a gigabyte of storage. Holy Shrek. Sorry. 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter out of 11. This is taking a long time. What? What happened to Google Docs? Whatever. See where my mouse was? There was a man named Elkanah, who lived in Ramah in the region of Zuph, in the hill country of Ephraim. He was the son of Jeroham, son of Elihu, son of Tohu, son of Zuph, son of Ephraim. Elkanah had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had 2 children, but Hannah did not. Each year, Elkanah would travel to Shiloh to worship and sacrifice to the Shrek of Shreben's armies at the tabernacle. The Shrenesis of Shrek at that time were 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas. On the days Elkanah presented his sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to Peninnah and each of her children. And though he loved Hannah, he would give her only 1 choice portion because Shrek had given her no children. So Peninnah would taunt Hannah and make fun of her because Shrek had kept her from having children. Year after year was the same. Peninnah would taunt Hannah as they went to the tabernacle. Each time Hannah would would be reduced to tears and would not even eat. "Why are you crying, Hannah?" Elkanah would ask. "Why aren't you eating? Why be downhearted because you have no children? You have me. Isn't that better than having 10 sons?" Oh, I'm not good at reading this much. My nose gets messed up. I don't even know. Oh my gosh, why does that keep happening? That's so weird. After the 2nd Shremuel, the 9th out of 11th. Because we haven't finished Shronicles, it's just empty. Levi, this is your job, because Levi's going to read it. Is going to write it. There was a man named Elkanah who lived in Ramah, a region of Zuph, in the hill country of Ephraim. He was the son of Jeroham, son of Elihu. After the death of Shaul, David returned from his victory over the Amalekites and spent 2 days in Ziklag. Sorry, I accidentally clicked 1 Samuel. On the 3rd day, a man arrived from Shaul's army camp. He had torn his clothes and put dirt on his head to show that he was in mourning. He fell to the ground before David in deep respect. "Where have you come from?" David asked. "I escaped from the Israelite camp," the man replied. "What happened?" David demanded. "Tell me how the battle went." The man replied, "Our entire army fled from the battle. Many of the men are dead, and Shaul and his son Jonathan are also dead." "How do you know Shaul and Jonathan are dead?" David demanded of the young man. The man answered, "I happen to be on Mount Gilbo, and there is Shaul leaning on his spear with the enemy chariots and charioteers closing in on him. When he turned and saw me, he cried out for me to come to him. How can I help him?" "How can I help?" I asked him. He responded, "Who are you?" "I'm an Amalekite," I told him. Then he begged me, "Come over here and put me out of my misery, for I am in terrible pain and want to die." So I killed him, the Amalekite told David, for I knew he couldn't live. Then I took his crown and armband, and I brought them here to you, Shrek. David and his men tore their clothes in sorrow when they heard the news. They mourned and wept and fasted all day for Shaul and his son Jonathan, and for Shrek's army and the nation of Israel, because they had died by the sword that day. Then David said to the man who had brought the news, "Where are you from?" And he replied, "I am a foreigner, an Amalekite who lives in your land." "Why were you not afraid to kill Shrek's anointed one?" David asked. Then David said to one of his men, "Kill him." So the man thrust his sword into the Amalekite and killed him. "You've condemned yourself," David said, "for you yourself confess that you killed Shrek's anointed one."
Once David had 600 men with him, and they were pursuing the Amalekites.
Okay, that was weird. Alright, we're almost done. First strings. Okay, when King Shaved was very old, he could not shave at his beard or keep... Me and my friend wrote that. When King Shaved was very old, he could not shave at his beard or keep warm, even when they put covers over him. So the attendant said to him, "Let us look for a young virgin to serve the king and take care of him. She can lie beside him so that our lord the king may keep warm." I really love first string. It's very good. Then they searched throughout Israel for a beautiful young woman, and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. The woman was very beautiful. She took care of the king and waited on him, but the king had no sexual relations with her. Now Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith, put himself forward and said, "I will be king." So he got chariots and horses ready, with 50 men to run ahead of him. His father had never rebuked him by asking, "Why do you behave as you do?" He was also very handsome and was born next after Absalom. One more page left. No, not one more. 2 more pages left. Adonijah conferred with the Joab, son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar, the Shrenesis, and they gave him their support. But Zadok, the Shrenesis, Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, Nathan the prophet, Shimei, and Rai, and Shaved's special guard did not join Adonijah. Adonijah then sacrificed sheep, cattle, and fattened calves at the stone of Zoeleth, near En Rogel. I don't know. He invited all his brothers, the king's sons, and the royal officials of Judah, but he did not invite Nathan, the prophet, or Benaiah, or their special guard, or his brother Solomon. Then Nathan asked Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, "Have you not heard that Adonijah, the son of Haggith, has become king, and our Lord Shaved knows nothing about it? Now then, let me advise how you can save your own life and this life of your son Solomon. Go to King Shaved and say to him, 'My lord the king, did you not swear to me, your servant, surely Solomon, your son, shall be king after me, and he will sit on my throne? Why then has Adonijah become king? While you are still talking to the king, I will come in and add my word to what you have said.' So Bathsheba went to see the aged king in his room, where Abishag and the Shunammite was attending him. Bathsheba bowed down, prostrating herself before the king. Alright, we're on the last one so far. And then I'll read, maybe once we make them, I'll probably read, 12 through 15. Alright, when King Shaved... I've got to say, hold on. I'm thirsty. I need to take a break. Whoa. Hold on. So I took a little break, and when I say a little break, I mean I took a 12-hour break or something like that. I just went to bed. I got tired. I didn't go to bed, but I just gave up. So, the Lord's judgment on Ahaziah. After Ahab's death, Moab rebelled against Israel. Now Ahaziah had fallen through the lattice of his upper room in Samaria and injured himself. So he sent messengers saying to them, "Go and consult Baal-zebub, the god of Shrekron, to see if I will recover from this injury." But the angel of the Shrek said to Elijah the Tishbite, "Go up and meet the messengers of the king of Samaria and ask them, 'Is it because there is no Shrek in Israel that you're going off to consult Baal-zebub, the god of Shrekron?' Therefore this is what the Shrek says, 'You will not leave the bed you are lying on, you will certainly die.'" So Elijah went. When the messengers returned to the king, he asked them, "Why have you come back?" "A man came to meet us," they replied, "and he said to us, 'Go back to the king who sent you and tell him, this is what the Shrek says. is because there is no Shrek in Israel. They are sending messengers to consult Beelzebub, the god of Shrekran. Therefore you will not leave the bed you are lying on. You will certainly die. Gosh. Wow, it's the same thing. The king asked them, "What kind of man was it who came to meet you and told you this?" They replied, "He had a garment of hair and had a leather belt around his waist." The king said, "That was Elijah the Tishbite." Then he sent Elijah a captain with his company of 50 men. The captain went up to Elijah, who was sitting on the top of a hill, and said to him, "Man of Shrek, the king says, 'Come down.'" Elijah answered the captain, "If I am a man of God, of a Shrek," you forgot that one, "may fire come down from heaven we did miss a few things, from Shreven, and consume you and your 50 men." And then fire fell from Shreven. Then fire fell from Shreven and consumed the captain and his men. At this, the king sent Elijah another captain with his 50 men. The captain said to him, "Man of Shrek, this is what the king says. Come down at once." "If I am a man of Shrek," Elijah replied, "may fire come down from Shreven and consume you and your 50 men." Then the fire of God fell from Shreven and consumed him and his 50 men. So the king sent a third captain with his 50 men. This third captain went up and fell on his knees before Elijah. "Man of Shrek," he begged, "please have respect for my life and the lives of these 50 men, your servants. See, fire has fallen from Shreven and consumed the first 2 captains and all their men. But now have respect for my life." First Shronicles is no longer going to be written by Levi. He said no. So, cool, I'll write it. See you in the next video. Bye. This is the Holy Shrible.